Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. We are back on the Zooms today with Martha Reynolds. She is the Executive Director of Barns of Rose Hill. And Martha, I was joking with you earlier about you're always so great about sending me a list of things that we want to talk about. And now I understand why, because this list is a sampling of all of the things. It's got to be difficult for you to look at the next 3 months and say, okay, how much can I feasibly get into a 20-minute radio conversation and
That's
what's more important
that's
than
right.
another?
If I don't give myself some parameters when we talk, Janet, we would never make it through everything. It's too difficult. And it's hard to pick things out because we are so excited about everything. So, like you said, just a sampling. So, definitely we encourage everybody to take a look at our full calendar every time we do these things because there's always something that we probably won't be able to touch on.
There are always a lot of different things that you try to offer, but I feel like this spring you're putting the icing on the cake here.
Yes, definitely adding a little cherry and some sprinkles to that sundae, Janet. It's definitely nice. We have a really fabulous lineup in our gallery spaces. Our upper gallery and our lower gallery are both populated. We're going to have some classes to accompany our exhibitions this spring. We've got films, we've got concerts, all the things that people love about the Barns. We touch on every little thing this year, so we're very excited.
Let's start with Kristin Fiorvanti because I think we may have mentioned her
Hmm.
as something that was happening this year when we did our show back in December. And I kept thinking, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And then it occurred to me she has actually done the show with me because she is a Laurel Ridge Community College graduate. And so she was one
Yes.
of their guests.
Yes, she's only 27 and she is really making waves. I have seen her work exhibited throughout the Northern Shenandoah Valley, and her pieces are really stunning. This exhibition is called Life Extended, and it's really a reflection on her experiences and how they've gotten her to where she is. They're really photographically inspired, but she has this way of making every piece feel like you can see yourself in it. For instance, there's a piece, a beautiful piece that she revealed here, so it's brand new, called Grandpa's Lap. And I think everyone who's seen it has just said, oh my gosh, that just reminds me of me sitting on my pap's lap. And it's just bringing back really fond memories for everybody who's seen it. So it's a really stunning show. She really has used the entire upper gallery space, plus the lobby, plus she's got work in the concert hall. So it's really expansive. It's really fabulous. Everybody should check it out
How long is it going to be up?
through mid-April, so there's still plenty of time. We've got several weeks to go. She's actually even doing a raffle as part of her exhibition. If she reaches a $2,000 goal with the raffle, she will do a commissioned work for someone. So that's a really exciting offer. So I would encourage everybody to partake of that as well.
Can I get my raffle tickets there at the Barnes?
Absolutely.
Not that I need an excuse to come over, but that is a good
That's
incentive.
it. We're always happy to see you, Janet.
And then tell me a little bit about plants and places.
Yeah, we love doing collaborations with the Oak Spring Garden Foundation in Upperville. This was really Bunny Mellon's pet project. It's a fantastic foundation, and the work they do is phenomenal. We are thrilled to really receive this exhibition. It is largely work from past artists in residence, but they're also going to be bringing some original work from the French watercolorist Sophie Grenval. And we're even going to be doing a screening of a film about Sophie called Fragments of Eden. She is a living artist. She used to work with Dior and a lot of French fashion influencers, and then transitioned to this very immersed in nature, humble life in this little cottage. And the film sort of documents that, but you'll certainly be able to see that in her work. It's got that American primitive look to it almost, but certainly with the French elements. It's really stunning. And of course, because of the artist in residence element, we'll also be seeing some beautiful renditions of plants, of flora and fauna from the Oak Spring Garden Foundation, from the site where the artists get their inspiration from. So it should just be beautiful. And perfect timing, of course, in the spring.
Right? It is a perfect timing, and I am such a fan of any of these organizations that offer those artist in residence programs because I think we as people who love art get so much out of it, but I have talked to some of those artists and it is a whole different way of creating and being inspired that I just think those programs are
Absolutely.
fantastic.
To have that opportunity to be completely immersed in that sort of environment, it's just inspiration at every turn.
And you mentioned a few minutes ago that you've got some classes that you're also doing this year. You're doing an oil painting boot camp?
Yes, Jordan Ju, it's been a long time since we've had him out for a class, but he is a stunning portrait artist. We actually have a portrait of one of our founders, Diana Kincannon, that Jordan did hanging in our lobby space. And he is going to be doing this sort of full day immersive boot camp for beginners, getting familiar with paints, with how to use them, just getting started with the basic foundational elements of oil painting. And he's looking forward to this. It's been several years since we've been able to do this with Jordan. So we're very, very excited. He's something else. He's phenomenal.
And it's a unique opportunity to have to be able to work with oil because a lot of times you
Absolutely.
see these classes and they're watercolors or there's something that's a little bit more, I don't simplified. I don't want to offend any artists out there, but oil is somewhat complicated. So being able to get in on a boot camp like this is a pretty good experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're even interested in the possibility of dabbling in oil paint, but not sure how to get there, getting your own set of oil paints and all the supplies and materials, that can be quite an investment. So this is a little fraction of what you might incorporate into that. So this is a great experience for someone looking to experiment a little bit.
There are a lot of things in these early months of spring that you're doing that are all about color, which I was very excited about when I was looking at the list. I joked with you earlier too about the class on color theory, but you're also doing textile dyeing with plants. You've got experiments in natural color coming up.
Yes, so it was really a happy accident that we ended up with two simultaneous exhibitions that are really central to the idea of color. So in our upper gallery is going to be work by he's a retired professor of pharmacy from Shenandoah University, and in his retirement he's really been dabbling in utilizing dyes from plants to dye textiles. It's like tie-dye, and he creates these gorgeous patterns on fabric. So we're not only going to be having an exhibition of his work, which is Experiments in Natural Color, which is going to be here from April through May. He will also be doing an immersive class, doing some demonstration and also some hands-on work to sort of teach us the process for not only extracting dye from your typical plants. He's going to be showing us like dandelions and oak bark and how you can extract dye from that, but also the best techniques for utilizing the dye to dye the textile, because you can't just throw a piece of linen into some liquid and hope that it soaks up the color.
Yeah, this is not your traditional tie-dye t-shirt making thing.
No, he's excited to be able to showcase the mixing of science and art, which is really where this comes in. So that's the first part of this. And then downstairs in our lower gallery, we have the work of Pam Klein, who many people might know. She's a Millwood-based artist, a contemporary artist. She is very immersed in the world of color and what color means and how we perceive color. And throughout the course of her exhibition, she's going to be doing a 5-week introduction to color theory. So it's going to be every Saturday morning from May 9th through June 6th, really looking at Joseph Albert's principles of color theory and how to play with that. So you really come away with a deeper understanding of color and how it interacts with your world. This is going to be fun. We're going to have construction paper and people are going to cut things out. And it's definitely also very hands-on.
We hear so much, or at least I do, from a marketing perspective about what colors should be in a logo and what kind of feelings colors evoke in people. It's going to be interesting to see how she interprets that from that perspective, not necessarily from a sales or a marketing perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely, because there's so much more than that. I know you and I think like that, Janet, but there's so much more to color than we even realize. The principles that he wrote about have really been studied since his original work came out. And I think Pam takes her own sort of perspective on it, which is really fascinating. And I think personally, to take these classes while being immersed in the artist's work. You're surrounded by these beautiful pieces, getting your hands dirty and understanding where that comes from. I think that's perfect. That's really where the best of both worlds come together.
Oh, yeah, I've already marked that on my calendar. So, Mary, if you're listening, that's something you and I might do at Barnes because my friend Mary lives there in Berryville, and we're always thinking, what can we do together? That might be something fun that she and I can go and do together.
I would say that class is going to be good for friend groups.
And then coming up in April, you've got jazz all over the place.
Yeah. Another sort of happy coincidence that April turned out to be Happening Jazz Month. So all our jazz lovers out there are just going to be so happy. We originally had the Winchester Jazz Collective scheduled for January, but then that was literally the day before that huge snowstorm came through. So Snowmageddon canceled that. So this is the rescheduled show, and they're going to be doing a celebration of Count Basie and Ella Fitzgerald, and they're going to have a vocalist. So the Winchester Jazz Collective is really made up of professors from Shenandoah Conservatory who are in the jazz and commercial music program, and they're just amazing artists. We've had them here in several different iterations since 2023, and they've done varying programs for us, but this is the first time they'll have a vocalist with them, so we're excited about that. That's going to be actually a matinee show, so for everybody who likes the Sunday matinee, that will be on April 12th, a matinee show. Then we'll have the same guys that do the Charm City Jazz Fest, the Django Jazz Fest up in Baltimore. We'll be doing our own little version of that here on April 25th. Really stunning artists in the world of gypsy jazz and Django Reinhardt's repertoire. So really fun swing dance kind of music, really toe tapping, that sort of thing. That's going to be on April 25th. And then the next day, we've got a student from Shenandoah doing a big band bash here. He's going to be doing a celebration of the trumpet. So they're all different in their own right. So there's no real crossover except the fact that it's jazz.
My husband will be very excited about Big Band Bash because he is a huge fan of the horns. He loves any music that has the horns. So I might actually be able to get him out of the house that day.
Yes, and it's a great one. Another little Sunday matinee, and the intent is to be able to support this student Tyler, who is showcasing some of his studies in his time at the conservatory. So definitely a good one.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I know you've got some more concerts. You've got a concert later this month that's happening, Winchester Musica Viva. Can we get in the weeds on some other things in the next segment?
Absolutely. Sounds great, Janet.
We are on the Zooms today with Martha Reynolds. She is the executive director at Barnes of Rose Hill. We're talking about all the cool, fun things that are coming up this spring there in Berryville at their venue. We're going to learn about more of those things when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
This Saturday, Henry Mueller will change the world. He has no idea that's what he's going to do. He only knows that he went to justserve.org and signed up to spend time at a senior center Saturday morning. As he browsed through service opportunities in his own community, he remembered the words of Paul to the Galatians, "By love, serve one another." Little does Henry know that Saturday morning he'll end up speaking to one senior in particular who hasn't seen his family in several weeks and is feeling especially lonely. Henry doesn't know the short time he'll spend with this man will lift his spirits, cheer his heart, and make his life just a little better. Through love and service this Saturday, Henry Mueller will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. Today, it is all about the cool, fun things happening at the Barnes of Rose Hill. Martha Reynolds is on the Zooms with me. She is their executive director. We learned about exhibitions and classes, jazz happening over the next couple of months. And you actually have a concert coming up, Martha. Danny Nicely is doing a winter concert right here at the end of March. So we don't even have to wait until April for some of these things.
That's right. I thought this one would be a good one to mention. Danny Nicely has been doing an annual winter show in this area in Northern Virginia, Northern Shenandoah Valley region for 15 years. So this is his 15th annual iteration of this show. But every year he does something a little bit different. Danny is one of the most incredible multi-instrumentalists that we know. He is here just in so many different iterations and collaborations. His primary instrument is the mandolin, and anybody who knows Danny knows that he is really one of the best out there. And this one is really special because it's going to be sort of an Appalachian Brazilian fusion coming up on March 28th. So anybody who likes Danny and who's willing to get a little experimental, definitely come out to that one.
I had Winchester Musica Viva on early last year before one of their concerts, and their director is one of the nicest people I have ever met. So I was really excited to see that you've got a collaboration with them coming up on April 11th.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. I had no idea that it was their 45th year, their 45th season of doing this. That was just astonishing to me. That's a wonderful thing to celebrate. And we're so happy to be able to showcase that. This is actually our first collaboration with them. So choral ensemble, really fabulous stuff. It's part of our classical music series that we do every year. We have a little classical club of donors who are really devoted to bringing that repertoire to Berryville. But this is really outside of the box for us. And as part of that celebration of 45 years, they're going to be doing this sort of look back on some of their favorite programs over the years, which I think is just going to be delightful.
People who have heard them perform should come and hear them perform at your place.
Absolutely.
Because it is going to be such a different experience.
It really is. This space, it's an acoustic marvel. Recently, an artist told me that it was like playing inside of a guitar. It really is special in that regard, and it's totally unlike so many other venues. So to be able to experience that in a different light, I completely agree. It's not like hearing it in a church. It will be a completely different sound.
What is the You Got Gold that you're doing on May 22nd?
Yes. So that's a little teaser. On May 22nd, we're really excited to be screening You Got Gold, it's a concert tribute film to John Prine. Basically, all the artists that he collaborated with and worked with over the years came together and did a concert tribute to him. They filmed it and all sorts of interviews with the contributing artists. So it's a really lovely portrait of John Prine as told by the musicians that he worked with. It's a very new film. It's not available for streaming anywhere. So this is definitely a good opportunity to come see it. I would certainly encourage to. We think this one's probably going to sell out. So this is one to get tickets for earlier, sooner rather than later. And of course, I have to give a shout out to our friend Lisa Shepard at Love at First Bite Catering and Events for sponsoring this show. She has some really personal feelings about John Prine and his songwriting, as many of us do. So she was very delighted to be able to sponsor this show for us.
Sponsorship is important in order for you to continue to do the work and to bring in these artists that you do. You've got another duo coming up, Larry Keel and John Stickley. You're looking for a sponsor for that. It's very important in order for you to keep this diversity in music and art and all of the things.
Absolutely. So much of our support comes from private philanthropy, from individual givers, from people who say, I really like that kind of music. I think I might like to support those artists. And there are so many surprise expenses that come with putting on all of these performances, concerts, films, classes that you don't think about necessarily if you're not in the weeds of it. Every little bit makes a really big difference for the Barns of Rose Hill in being able to bring some of these high class acts to the Barns. Larry Keel and John Stickley, we are so excited to have them, some of the biggest names in bluegrass, and that's so exciting to be able to have. And everybody mark your calendars. It's an easy one, July 11th, 7-Eleven. You got it. It's in your head now.
Get your free Slurpee and then head to the Barns of Rose
That's
Hill.
it. That's it. Get your Slurpee. To be able to have them is a real treat, but we also need support to be able to make that happen. So we are actively seeking a sponsor. So certainly if anybody knows anybody who loves Larry and John, I would certainly encourage them to reach out to us.
And then what is this? I see that you have won an award.
Yes, so this is a little teaser because I'm not supposed to tell the official announcement isn't until this Friday, but the Barnes of Rose Hill is once again a Virginia Green Travel Star Award recipient. We received a Virginia Green Travel Leader Award last year, and we will be receiving another award this year. Sustainability is really important to us and how we operate, and we just try to make everyone aware of it because we think that every little bit counts in terms of going green. So if we can, by spreading the word a little bit, encourage people to make some positive actions in that direction in their own lives, that really makes a big difference.
I think people misunderstand what those small things that we can all do in our daily lives, what kind of a big impact they can have. I think sometimes people think if they don't go big, then it doesn't count or it doesn't matter. And that is not the case. And you guys are a shining example of that, not just in your design and how you choose to operate there, but you do that in little ways as well that then again have that bigger impact on the community and the planet.
Oh, absolutely. It's the little things. We transitioned, for instance, for our concessions, we were selling like bags of M&Ms. Well, if you go to a box, then you can recycle that paper. So there are things like that, just small little things that come into play. We're really excited to be affiliated with Virginia Green and that Travel Alliance. It's basically all sorts of tourism-based organizations across the state that are coming together to try to make positive sustainability efforts in their operations. It's really a great group. I would encourage everybody who's interested to check out the list of organizations who are on Virginia Green and maybe think about next time you're traveling, think about the organizations that are incorporating green practices as part of what they do.
The other thing that I think people misunderstand, because I know the last thing on our list here is talking about spring being membership season. I think people sometimes discount how beneficial being a member of Barnes can be, not from the perspective of everything that they get, but I think sometimes they think, yeah, but just buying a membership, how much help is that actually going to give them? It is those little things that also add up.
Membership is a huge thing for the Barnes of Rose Hill. Those memberships, for us, it's a core community. Those are our closest friends and allies. We trust those people to help us make this happen on a day-to-day basis. It is something that, if you are an advocate for the arts and for bringing the arts to our community, that membership is a great way to show that. And obviously, like you said, you get some perks and benefits along the way, which is always a good thing. But we so appreciate our members. And like you said, Janet, there's no small gift. We like to say that because last year in 2025, we had hundreds and hundreds of gifts that were $20 or less. And by the time all of that comes together, that's thousands of dollars. That enabled us to have 2 extra programs in the first quarter of this year. So that really does make a difference when people say, I'm going to add $5 to my ticket purchase. Maybe a membership isn't in the cards right now, but I have $5 extra dollars to give. So next time I buy a ticket, I'm going to do that. And those, every little bit counts. It really, really does.
It also really helps too from the perspective you mentioned earlier that there are all sorts of little things that sometimes happen. The air conditioning goes down, or the heating has a blip in it, or there's a leak somewhere. I think people misunderstand how grant processes work. And most grant programs are for programs. They're to have jazz come in to do these classes. Rarely are they for the upkeep, keeping the lights on, all of those kinds of things. And when you give an extra couple of dollars on a ticket, when you buy a membership, it helps you offset those that aren't necessarily covered any other way.
Absolutely, absolutely. The programs are fantastic, and we love to have so many grantors supporting our programs. But like you said, Janet, there is so much that comes with maintaining a facility that people just don't realize. It's nice to be able to come in and have everything be nice and comfortable and clean, but those things don't come without a cost. We work hard to make sure that everything is maintained so we don't have as many emergency scenarios as one might expect, but there are always things that come up. So every little bit in terms of supporting our general operations, it really goes a long way.
So where can people go to get details, buy tickets about things that we've talked about, sign up for membership, or give a gift? I mean, Mother's Day is not that far away, and this would be a really cool gift to give to your mom, a membership to the
Absolutely.
Barnes.
A membership is a great gift. Yes. So I would definitely encourage. And guess what? Then mom gets to pick what shows she comes to. So you don't have to guess. I think that's always the hardest part. But absolutely, Janet, barnesofrosehill.org. Our website is the first place to go. We are also on socials. Our handle is Barnes of Rose Hill on Facebook and Instagram primarily, but definitely barnesofrosehill.org. We're very quick to announce new things and new programs on our website. And I always remind people that we're constantly adding things to the calendar. So I guarantee that if you checked it 3 weeks ago, there's probably 10 new things on there already. So it's very
And
exciting
again,
times.
this was only a sampling of what we talked about today. So there's even more that we just couldn't get into the time that we're allotted.
We were looking at our calendar, our director of operations and programs, Nathan Borger, and we thought, whoa, this is a big spring for us.
We're also a small
is.
staff, so that's a lot to take on.
But we have some phenomenal volunteers. That goes absolutely a long way too, Janet. But we're excited about the range, as we talked about before, and all the fun things we have coming up.
Well, I hope everything sells out. I hope people call you up and say, hey, I want to give you an extra $5. I want to buy a membership for my mom and my aunt, and I want to come to this class, this concert, and I want to come buy a piece of art from Kristin and win that raffle. So maybe this will do it.
That's exactly right. That's what we want. Every interaction, everything you do, it really makes a difference.
Thank you, Martha, for taking the time to give me the rundown today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's always so wonderful chatting with you, Janet.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, a few minutes after noon, so meet me here then.